righty, Wolfpack Nation. It is time to finish this thing up, baby. We are here in part 3, y'all. If you haven't checked out part 1 and part 2 yet of our 2024 NC State football season predictions yet, make sure to go and do those first, where we break down the first 8 games of the season, because now it is time to wrap it up with the Final Four, y'all. Which, by the way, y'all, Final Four, good times this year, right? So
we did
anyway,
twice.
Yeah, I know, right? Twice. So a name so good that we did it twice, right? So so anyway, y'all. So we're gonna start off with Stanford, then move to Duke, Georgia Tech, and then UNC to wrap it up. But one interesting fact that our stat man himself, Greg the Leg, found is that this is actually the first time in NC State football program history that we will have ever played Cal and Stanford. So, you know, Cal, who we talked about at the end of part 2, and now we're talking about Stanford here at the beginning of part 3. So the Battle of the Block guesses will happen for the first time ever. And yes, I understand that we don't really use a block guess anymore, but again,
should we pull them out?
I do. I mean,
we could.
Listen, I think that would be the most epic thing ever. Because I mean, like, let's be real. For all State fans, if you have not been misunderstood, that people that or mistakenly thought that you were a Stanford fan, then I don't know how that hasn't happened to you. To be honest with you,
I've gotten it so many times.
Oh yeah,
especially over here in Northern Virginia.
Oh yeah.
Know, I get it. I was like, oh, you Stanford fan? No, there's an N in the C, you moron.
Right. I love it. So anyway, y'all, just to kind of recap.
Obviously, you didn't go to Standard because you can't read. Or Stanford, you can't read. I said Standard.
Standard, yeah, exactly. Standard, yeah. Look in the mirror, Greg. Anyway, so all right. So just to kind of recap where we're at so far. So I have us going 6-2 with losses to Cal and Tennessee. Michael has us going 6-2 with losses to Tennessee and Syracuse. Greg has us going 7-1 with a loss to Cal. So again, total spoiler alert: if you haven't checked out part 1 and part 2 yet, still go check it out. Do it anyway. Go check it out and then come right back here. But jumping into Stanford, y'all, I mean, I think this honestly is going to be the easiest AC game we have.
Win.
Yeah, win.
Keep it moving.
On to next.
Yeah.
An interesting stat that I found, that they have not won more than 3 games since 2018.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
I think
so.
Well, we talked about SMU in the previous podcast, but
Wake Forest, yeah.
You know, I think Stanford, out of the 3 new programs, I think SMU will be the best. I think Cal will be better than people think, but Stanford, I think, is just going to be terrible.
Yeah, during the ACC media days, they came up last place, 17, with like 432 points or 435 points. So this is going to be a program that's still trying to figure out. I think you mentioned it earlier, Michael, with regards to Wake Forest and their academic standards, and Stanford is the same way. You know, it's just really hard to get dudes. They end up leading the sports points of the Capital One Cup, and you know, they had the most Olympians with medals. They do all the non-revenue sports really well. It's football that they really struggle in, since the who was the coach that was really good? David Shaw.
Yeah, David Shaw.
Yeah,
even he was bad really the last couple of years. He had a good years.
When you have luck,
Jim Harbaugh kind of brought Stanford back, and then Shaw took over and kind of rode that wave a little bit, but then the end of his tenure,
the recruiting dried up.
Yeah.
So really, this
but
game.
You had guys. I was going to say, you had guys like Christian McCaffrey. Like you had studs like there at times. Bryce Love.
Bryce Love. Yeah, I was going to say Bryce Love, our guy.
Yeah.
Bryce Love.
You had dudes at times, but just haven't been able to figure it out.
Which again, y'all, we could have gotten Bryce Love, but we decided to stick with Nyheim Hines, and I'm going to sit here. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty happy with that.
We're tough for both.
So really 3 things, guys, with Stanford. So first of all,
another block S.
Yeah, exactly. But with nothing in between.
Nothing in between.
Yeah. So with Stanford, I mean, offensively, they do have a solid running back, not a great running back, but a solid running back. EJ Smith, who was a top back last year, had at Texas A&M, transferred over to Stanford. But Alik Iomenor,
the
something
wide
like that.
receiver.
Alik. I mean, he's by far their best weapon, in my opinion, on the offensive side. I mean, we all have seen the comeback versus Colorado.
Oregon? Colorado. That's what
Colorado, where we had 396 receiving yards by himself that day. Like, that's stupid. That will never happen again. For as much of as Deion Sanders is a cornerback, he couldn't figure out any way to stop a passing game from one guy. It blows my mind. So I'm going to say to you, okay, well, I'll take you Travis Hunter and I'll raise you Aiden White. So just Aiden White, you watch a leak, and we'll take care of the rest. Simple as that. Defensively, they were actually 129th in the country last year in total defense and scoring defense, giving up an average of 462 total yards of offense a game and 37 points a game, with almost no pass rush whatsoever, almost no takeaways. Like, they were terrible on defense. But then honestly, and here's the biggest thing, Greg, just to kind of really just kick their teeth in while they're down.
Yeah, keep going.
Is that we just talked about how we gave us a loss to Cal because we'll have at that point played 8 games in a row. They'll have played 7 games in a row by the time they have played us. And before us, they would have had to gone to Notre Dame, played SMU at home, who's SMU's no joke, played Wake Forest at home, which, they're not going to be great, but, but then they have to travel across the country to play us. And on top of that, too, just to kick it in a little bit more, they have to play in Carter Finley. So, I mean, just, good
luck.
Good luck to you. Yeah, good luck to you, sir. Appreciate you. So, all right. Any final thoughts before we move on, Duke, here, y'all?
Yeah, so I was trying to figure out why this guy is still staying at Stanford because of his skill sets. But I looked up his major. Again, this is what we do when we're going to beat a team pretty badly, so we just try to find something to talk about. Yeah, it's computer science. I'm like, dude, why are you not transferring? Like, you've got so much talent. You did that against Travis Hunter, which by all accounts was like the best cornerback in the land last year, if you listen to all the talking heads. So, hey, props to him for staying loyal to Stanford, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So, we win. I think we win this one big.
We should. If it's not 3 possessions, I'm a little concerned. Yeah.
Well, when you say 3 possessions, it should be 3 touchdowns, not even like 3 possessions. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're not talking like 17 points, right? I'm thinking 9 21 points. Plus.
Yeah.
Could be
9 points. Well, that's not really. Well, yeah, 3. Yeah, but you could do a field goal and a touchdown. It's 2 possessions. That's
especially.
Come on.
Well, and again, point number 5, we're coming off of a bye week, so even
plenty of time
more.
to prepare for this team.
Well rested. They're coming off of now playing their 8th game.
Coming cross country because now they're coming cross country.
There should be easy win.
No excuse.
And then for the rest of time, NC State will be the Block S team for all of the block sports.
There should be like a Block S trophy. There should be a trophy game.
Yeah,
there should be. I agree, 100%. All right, y'all. So let's move into Duke here, y'all. First year head coach Manny Diaz.
Former NC State guy, defensive coordinator, actually, correct? Yep, under Amato.
Yep. So, really for me, there's really 2 stories out of this: Amato, and then Grayson Loftus. Is that the name, or is it
QB?
No, Malik Murphy. Malik Murphy's
from Texas. Yeah,
from Texas.
Yeah, Loftus is the other guy who's been at Duke. I don't think they've
the question is
starter.
And that's exactly what I was going to say, Michael. Yeah.
Yep.
So who knows by the time? I mean, we're talking. What is this, week 11 now?
Mm-hmm. No, week 10. Well, no,
we have a bye.
Yeah, so week 11. Week 11. Yep.
So who even knows at this point, right? I mean, it's you're making a lot of assumptions, especially for a quarterback battle.
Yep. Agreed.
Man, that would be tough for Malik Murphy to transfer from Texas to Duke to lose to Grayson Loftus.
Yeah,
I think Murphy will. I think he'll be the starter.
I think he's the more athletic one. It's about who's going to protect the ball, like who's going to give you, who's not going to be turnover prone, because Murphy has all the skill sets.
Well, and exactly. So I mean, like I'm assuming by this point of the season with Duke, you're not necessarily saying like they're out of it. So just wrap it up, but just more of like, all right, you're not necessarily competing for AC championship. You're trying to just get to a bowl game probably by this point. So just go ahead and start thinking about the future. Play Malik Murphy. Just like you said, he if he's not the quarterback of your future, then why'd you bring him here? You know what I mean? That's really kind of my thought on it. So
Jordan Waters game.
Jordan Waters revenge game.
Bad at Texas.
I would say revenge game. I mean, he beat us, so it's not really a revenge game. It's an NC State revenge game.
It'd be funny. Yeah, Jordan Waters walks up. All right, guys, I'm going to go in. I'm going to kick the teeth into that guy that beat us last year. That was you. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, Mike Elko's gone, so you really can't even be mad at him.
Yeah. So, but I mean, the one thing to keep in mind though is that Manny Diaz. I mean, he's a defensive guy.
Defense.
Like defense is going to be good, no doubt about it.
But again, they lost a lot of guys off that defense.
First year.
Exactly. Yeah, they lost guys on the offense. I mean, Tampa Bay took their center, Graham Barton, so they're replacing a lot of pieces.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
Yep. So, and I mean, really.
They're picked to finish 11th in the conference, so bottom third of the conference. So again, this should be a very winnable game
at home. Yep. Yeah, I gotta win as well
at home.
Yeah. So, but again, now and again, y'all, I just we all need to preface by saying by this point, as we all know, that by this point of the season, everything we're talking about right now, I can guarantee you can basically just take it and throw it out the window. Like who the heck knows where we're going to be at this point?
Who knows?
Yeah, so many things. Many things.
I mean, we don't know. So we'll see. So, but I mean, I feel really good again, it being at home, but even if it was at Duke, if it was at Duke versus at NC State, I don't know. I'm telling you, Greg,
we said the same thing last year and we got our teeth kicked in.
Dude, don't take my line. Don't take my line. That's my line.
We got donkey stomped, but that's your line too.
Yeah.
Like it was just a bad night. I remember that night. I barely remember that night because it was a rainy, crappy game. Like we got up 3-0 on like a career field goal. We're like, okay, yeah. And they were like, we got MJ Morse. Yeah. And then we're like, we suck. Like a couple hours later. Yeah. It was just, that was a major turning point for the season, though. I mean, there's no doubt.
Oh, very much so. But right now, Vegas has Duke win total at 6. But keeping in mind that 3 of those games are Elon at Middle Tennessee and UConn. So
they're going to win 3 ACC games.
And also, too, before that, oh my gosh. So again, let's look at the schedule real quick. Before that, they have to play Florida State, SMU, at Miami, at State.
Win.
That is disgusting right there.
That sounds like something like Mac Burn would complain about.
Oh, totally. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Florida State, SMU at home, at Miami, at State. Dang, that's tough. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. So
that might be one of the toughest 4-game stretches for any team.
Oh, totally. Yeah, absolutely. Michael, what's your thoughts here?
Yeah. I don't know. I gotta Duke's. I don't know. Like,
what are you thinking about over there, Michael? I'm like,
I feel like you're putting way too much effort into this.
You're going to put way too much thought into this game, man. Like, what's going on?
It's a win. It's a win.
Okay.
There we go. He's back.
Yeah, but why? I mean, I'm curious. Like, what? Like, give me what's going through your head?
There's a small chance Malik Murphy could turn into the guy he was, the 5. I don't know if he was a 5-star, but he was very highly rated recruit and kind of ball out. But I don't think that happens.
Yeah, I mean, here's my other thing though too is like. As good as Duke's defense will be, it's gonna most of it be because of the coaching, not necessarily like they have some pretty good players on the defensive side, but no guys I'm necessarily like better watch.
They
out
lost
for
their best ones. They kept some guys, but what's his face? Peebles went to Virginia Tech, their lineman. Brennan Johnson, their safety, went to Oregon. I think he ended up at.
They got decimated by the transfer portal in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, their best running back obviously came to State.
Yep.
I honestly, like, and I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, I was doing some research on them today. I just didn't recognize any names. Yeah. I'm just like, and again, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, you got, Notre Dame defense, for instance, from the Vikings back in the day. You're asking too much for a first year head coach, especially at a school like Duke, where they've only had minimal success a few times. Like Spurrier had some good years there. Elko brought him back. It takes a lot, to your point, we mentioned with Wake Forest earlier, they're a team that they got to develop guys and then they have a 1 or 2 year window. Yeah. So it's a major rebuild right now, I think, for Duke. And so for that reason, and then the revenge factor that we mentioned earlier, State's not going to take this team lightly. No. We're right now we're in the middle of an ACC championship run. Every game matters. It's too much.
Agreed.
Thanks for stopping by, Duke.
Yeah, appreciate you. Don't let the door kick you on the way out. So, all right. So at this point, let's see where we at. So, for Michael and I, we're at 8-2. Losses to Michael to Stanford and Tennessee. Me, Cal, Tennessee.
Syracuse,
Greg,
Tennessee.
9-1. 9-1 with only loss to Cal. That's crazy, Greg. Dude,
I've been hanging out with Kens too much, man. I'm just telling you right now. Like,
I know. Are you sure you don't got Ken sitting off camera being like?
Yeah, she's texting me right now. I'm actually feeding her notes. I don't. I'm usually a pretty solid person. I don't know why I'm drinking this Kool-Aid.
Well, again, because I'm telling you, this team is just different. It just is,
I think. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The culture is there, man. It's there.
And here's the other part. We mentioned it jokingly about the Final Four. I really think this stuff is contagiif.
It rubs off.
I feel like it's a culture, and that's why I'm believing in it, man. Yep. Look, if you asked me this question last year, I don't think even if we had the same team from last year, this year, I don't think I would be as high on them, just because we've been let down so much. Right. 1 year, it changes you, man. It changes you.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah,
I know. Well, and because I think a lot of it too is because last year we were expecting a lot from Brennan Armstrong. While really with this team, it's not Grayson Mccall that's really kind of bringing the hype. It's just everything in general. It's just everything. The weapon.
He's just a piece.
The coaching staff. He's just a piece of what's making me excited. Not even a major piece. He's just a piece. But
an important piece. He's an important piece. But
an important piece. But again, I'm not sitting here saying we're going to win all these games because of Grayson Mccall.
So let me ask you this question. I know let's get on a sidebar just for just a quick second, because I think this is an important question.
I know where it's going. Go ahead.
If you knew nothing about anything and you got named Brennan Armstrong coming in and you got Grayson Mccall coming in, which one would you – and this is no slight on either one, by the way.
Yep.
Because of the level they played at, right? And I'm strictly basing it on a group of five and a power five guy.
Exactly.
Who are you more excited about?
For me, it's really simple as, Brennan, you got to go Brennan Armstrong. Just because of how offensively prolific he was at a Power 5 level.
And there's plenty of dudes that have balled out at lower levels and made it to the pros. You've got
Trey Lance.
Trey Lance.
That's the worst example.
Oh wait, whoops, sorry.
I was going Brett Favre at Southern Mississippi.
Yeah. Tony Romo.
Tony Romo, Northern Illinois.
Different Cowboys.
And then Eric McNair from Alcorn State.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Jeff McNair. Yep, Ben Roethlisberger from Miami of Ohio. Yep. So anyway, where I was going with that, obviously we were all going on the same page except this guy over here. You would normally say Brennan Armstrong. So anyway, that's the only point I wanted to make.
Michael, do you disagree?
No.
No.
He overthinks things.
If you really get into the weeds of it and look at their play style and stuff, Grayson Mccall is the better pure quarterback, pure passer.
Agreed.
But if you just look at stats and what level they played,
been there, done that.
Yeah. Answers were no.
Exactly. Yeah. No, again, Grayson's resume is far more impressive than Brennan ever had, for sure.
Really good. Yeah.
But again, definitely the levels have to go into that for sure. So no doubt. You took that question right off my head, man. I was saving that for a later time, but I'm okay bringing it right here, man. It's all good.
Yeah.
All right, so let's wrap this up, y'all. So Georgia Tech here first and foremost, man. Having to go to Tech on a Thursday night game.
Bro, we struggle against Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is a game where Georgia Tech, they've got a tough schedule. I think they're going to be pretty much done at this point. I think they could be good, but their schedule's so rough that I think they're going to be beat up by this point, and I think we win this one.
Well, and also too, because again, I should be like schedule laden or something like that, because like I just love talking about the schedule.
It's interesting.
It's a factor, yeah.
It does.
It's an important thing.
I mean, the fact that now the one thing that does play for them is that they will have a mini bye week, I think, just like us.
Yeah, I think they did that this year, where any team playing on a Thursday night
so we're gonna
week.
We're gonna have the same amount of rest by that point. Yeah. So it's not really a matter of who's more rested. But I think the one thing that does play a little bit of benefit is them having to go to Georgia. Now I know we go to UNC, but I think that, you know, like us playing at UNC, that's a game that, you know, okay, we can think about that after we beat Georgia Tech. But Georgia Tech, if they want to make sure they don't go to Georgia and lose by 60, they might want to start thinking about it a little bit sooner than that. You know, I mean, like, I don't know. That's just kind of one of those things. That's kind of one of those things. A little bit. It could also
be like they don't care about the game because they know they're going to lose by 60 no matter what they do.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, here's my thing though. If you're the Georgia Tech head coach, can you survive without being at least competitive to Georgia? Can you survive as a head coach without being competitive?
Yes, because you're not expected to win that.
Yeah. Without even being competitive though?
I think Georgia's just that so far above.
So what I would be curious, and I don't know enough about the rivalry, right? Because you have State and Carolina, you have Clemson and South Carolina. Those are massive rivalries, and I get it. You know, ours is ACC, where those are SEC, ACCs. Yeah. I just don't know if Georgia Tech's fan base is as rabid, especially when it comes to football, as like these other. And then I'm not even counting Carolina's football fan base, but I'm talking about Clemson, South Carolina. That's a huge rivalry. They're not in the same conference. And then, Florida with Florida State and Miami, those are rabid fan bases. I'm just not so sure that it means as much. And I could be completely wrong and off base. I don't know enough about it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Like, we're 4-11 all time in Bobby Dodd Stadium. And so it's kind of been a mini house of horrors. We haven't won there since 2010. And granted, it's a little weird because we don't play them every other year. It's like one of those once in every 7 year type things.
And the last time I think we did play them was that 2019 season when we were terrible. So
actually, we played them in 2020 and we won at home.
But on the road there, I think it was 2019.
Yes, right? Correct. Yeah, exactly right.
33-9 or something.
So it was not good.
So I mean, because really with this team. Offensively, their offensive line is very strong. Last year, they actually led the ACC in rushing and sacks allowed. But wide receiver wise, they have some good options, but no real studs to watch out for. So can their quarterback take the next step? And then defensively, their defense isn't necessarily something to go crazy about. So, I mean, I think this is – but I think, honestly, with this team, though, with the fact that Brinke is still developing and building, I think that what you really need to watch out for, again, is that grit factor. That, are they going to come out fighting, all guns blazing, just it's a Thursday night game. We're going to give it all we got. I don't care. We've been kicked down 8 times, or we're going to come up 9 times kind of thing. You know what I mean?
We're going to get killed by Georgia next week. So this is the last chance we got to win.
That's right.
Yeah. But I mean, last year we've talked about it on numerous occasions. Jekyll and Hyde team, they beat, UNC and they beat Miami. Granted, that was on Mario. We will not have to have Leighton chime in on that. But but they also lost to BC and Bowling Green.
Yeah.
Right.
And Hayes King is a good quarterback. He has potential to be really good, above average, almost great. But he's got to cut down on the turnovers. And so if he's turning over the ball left and right, this is going to be an easy win for State.
Before we continue, I want to take a quick second to tell you about our sponsor, Flightland's Jessup Insurance Group, that has your whole world covered, with agents in 5 offices throughout eastern North Carolina to help you decide how much coverage you need, offering policies for home and auto, recreational vehicles, commercial, crop, health, life, and employee benefits. They are able to combine options to find a comprehensive solution that works for you. Flatlands Jessup protects the things you love so you can spend less time worrying and more time enjoying them. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Flatlands Jessup. You can also visit their webpage at www.flatlandsjessup.com. So please make sure to go and check them out.
Agreed. Yeah. So I mean, really, for me, I mean, I have this down as a win. There's no way I can get us as a loss, for sure. But Greg, Michael, any of y'all considering a loss here?
I think it'd be a win, but I think it could be a little closer than we might like.
Yep. Completely agree. Yeah, I think it's going to be a win. I think it's going to be under 10 points. I don't see it being a blowout. No. If Georgia Tech's got something to play for, it's a good sized stadium. Make some noise the Thursday night. Thursday night games always get weird.
Yep.
Like crowds show up and get a little extra juice in the stadium. So that could be a factor. But or they could be really bad and no one shows up. I mean, I've seen that in their stands too. So we'll see.
And because just like you said, Greg, about the schedule. So their biggest win total is 6, and
which is an interesting number too.
Which is interesting because I mean they have to play. Their 2 layups are Georgia State and VMI, but then they have to play Duke at home, at Louisville, Miami at home, State at home, at UNC, at Syracuse, at Virginia Tech, Florida State in Dublin, at Georgia, Notre Dame at home.
That's what I'm saying. That's a
there's no favors. No favors.
No, not at all.
They probably only got 4 guaranteed wins on that schedule.
I think they had the 3rd or 4th hardest schedule in all the country. I think I read that somewhere. It's definitely a top 5.
Guaranteed, Michael? Well, no, but Michael said 4 guaranteed. I'm like, no, I'm seeing 2
guaranteed wins. Or maybe. What are we saying? Yeah.
Well, at least that's what I heard. Did I hear incorrectly?
That's what I was saying, but yeah, you're right.
Obviously those 2 out of conference games, VMI and Georgia State, those should be wins. I see Duke being a win.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yes.
Duke.
But that's it.
Oh yeah.
They played Louisville really close last year. They should have beat Louisville last year, to be honest with you.
Louisville, but
I get it.
Louisville's off a bye on that one.
And then. So I mean, the only games I'm really looking at is home games, and at home they have to play Miami and State. So it's
that's tough.
I mean, 3-9.
Mac Brown would really complain about that schedule.
Yes. I mean, 3-9 is definitely not out of the conversation for Georgia Tech.
And they're much better than 3-9. That's the craziness. Like that's going to be a decent team,
right? Yeah. They could be. Yeah, they could be 4-8 and still be like a dangerous
It's
team.
one of those schedules. If they're 6-6, that's almost being like 10-2.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like the Nebraska head coach where he lost
Matt Rule.
No, before that, the savior that came home from UCF.
Scott Frost. Yeah,
where like in his last year, how I think like 7 of his 8 losses were by like 1 possession or less.
Oh yeah,
and how crazy. like how Nebraska is like by far the best 4-8 team in all of college football. Like Georgia Tech could be the best 4-8 team in all of college football.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to think about. So,
well, good luck, Georgia Tech.
Good luck, Georgia Tech. We salute you. All right, y'all.
FSU in Ireland.
Let's wrap it up here, y'all, with some UNC.
Hold on. Sorry. That would throw a monkey wrench into the ACC.
If what?
And I don't think it's
Georgia
that
Tech beats
crazy.
Florida State?
Like, now we're just saying they could be so bad, but it's just like, I wouldn't be shocked if they beat Florida
State. No, they could still be bad, but they can pull an upset or 2. Like, that's the craziness of it.
Yeah. I mean, but also, too, y'all, do y'all want to guess here? Michael, do you know what the line is for Florida State?
Yeah, because I'm already looking at putting some money on that.
You guys are degenerates.
It's legal. It's legal.
All right, Greg.
Okay, I have no idea. I'm going to guess plus 16 for Florida State.
That's you mean minus?
Or whatever, minus 16. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm not a degenerate like you guys, so I don't understand. Shout out to my guy 16. Josh. What's the number?
14.
All right. So I wasn't far
I saw 12.
I could be a degenerate just like you.
That's right.
I saw 12, which is
12 seems a little low.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but
yeah. it's halfway across the world.
I know.
First game of the season.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be weird.
What's the weather going to be like? Because weather could be crap. Like, it could be rainy.
Well, and once again, what does DJ Uwe do?
Yeah,
like all these questions we talked about, Cade Klubnik.
If you're going to get them, this is when you get them. This is the week that's the game you get them when they haven't quite figured it out.
Yeah, this is the best time for Georgia Tech to play Florida State. Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm telling you right now, man, like, you know, I might have to go find some receipts of all these lists that have Mike Vrabel.
Florida State.
Mike Vrabel's right. Isn't that the coach's name?
Yeah, no, Mike Vrabel.
For which no. Who are you talking about? Which
Florida
team?
State. For Florida State.
Oh, Mike Norvell.
Mike Norvell. Thank you, Mike Norvell.
That's what I'm saying. Where are you going with this?
Yeah, Mike Norvell. Like all these lists that have Mike Norvell as, you know, like one of the top coaches in the ACC in the country. I'm like, all right, now let's see. Like was it Mike Norvell? Was it Jordan Travis? Let's find out. That's all I'm saying. So, all right. So let's jump into it, y'all. Speaking of, was it Mike Norvell? Was it Jordan Travis? Was it Sam Howell and Drake May, or was it Mac Brown? We'll find out.
I think we know the answer to that.
Yeah, right. Exactly. All right. So UNC, y'all. I mean,
hold on, I'm gonna do my Mac Brown.
Yeah, exactly. Or the
yeah.
That's a good one.
Anyway, yeah, that's actually better. That was better.
So, all right. So basically, with right now, Vegas actually has NC State favored by 4 points. That's where.
But they've already got a lineup for this game, but they don't. Okay, I don't understand.
Yeah, they pick
rivalry games,
like rivalry games, big games, but other games.
Just games they're trying to get some money for it because people are looking forward to it.
Suckers.
Yeah.
Well, but also too because it's kind of interesting, like thinking about like.
When you get in on the action.
Well, because like the line can change, will change more likely significantly by that point.
Yeah.
So, you're betting. Yeah, you're not just betting on the game. You're betting on the teams being good. Yeah, like if State's really good, and Carolina stinks, it could be 10 points by the time of the game.
That's a crazy bet. That's what 15 weeks away from now, 16 weeks away from now.
That's gambling, baby.
And you're betting on one game.
We're gonna have a new president by the time this happens.
It's true.
I know. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yep, that's true. So yeah, y'all. I mean, for me, I think it's interesting that I'm looking at this list right here of this college football news that listed the top 10 best UNC football players, and the fact that there's not one. There's only
Taylor.
Yeah, well, for this year's team, not all time.
For this year's team, obviously, all time.
But how there's one weapon that's on this list, and that's Bryson Nesbitt, the tight end. But there's not.
They didn't put Hampton on there.
Well, sorry. Well, okay.
Receiver.
Amari Hampton number 1, yes, but then Nesbitt at 4, and then there's no wide receivers. So basically, there's all. But the funny thing is, actually has Max Johnson as the quarterback at number 7, which I'm sitting here like. That's embarrassing though, because if you're saying he's their 7th best, they don't even know that they're actually from all I've heard.
There's no guarantee.
Actually, from all I've heard, like basically, there's a chance that Max Johnson will start against Minnesota, and then one of the other 2 quarterbacks will take over come like game 3 or 4, basically.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Just on the road, probably be hostile.
On the road, like just don't shoot yourself in the foot.
You trust
don't
the
turn
most.
the ball over. Like just go
in the SEC, all those crazy environments. That does make sense.
Exactly. So, but one interesting stat though, for sure is. I mean, first of all, let's talk about the stat of how many times our guy Philip Danford has absolutely crapped on UNC's defense for sure in his video breakdowns. But
they got one guy.
They have one guy. Yeah, K'Mon Rucker. That's that's the main guy for sure.
That's the main guy. Yeah, that's the name.
Now, Power Eccles. Don't sleep on Power Eccles on record.
Yeah. Is he still there?
Yeah,
he's still there. Yeah, he's on his 18th year.
Cedric Gray.
Yeah. I thought he was in the. I thought he went to the. Oh, I'm thinking Gray. That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, but the thing though, guys, for this is that like all of Mac. See, Greg, all of Mac Brown's complaining of last year, all of the push that he had onto the ACC. The ACC said, "Don't worry, Mac. You deal with it this year. We'll give you cupcake on cupcake on cupcake this year."
Still got to have a quarterback.
Yeah, no, still got to have a quarterback, and don't shoot yourself in the foot either. But Mac Brown found a way to do that plenty over the last 2 or 3 years. So, I'm looking at the schedule with, playing at Minnesota, but then you play Charlotte at home, UNC Central, James Madison, at Duke, Pitt, Georgia Tech, at Virginia, then at Florida State, then a bye week, then Wake Forest, at Boston College, NC State, just the biggest freaking eye roll in the world, because they're gonna be sitting there like 9-2 overall record and feeling also amazing, and I just don't get it, man.
Yeah.
Like just why
they're not gonna be that good,
man?
Yeah, like
they're not gonna be that
kind of
good.
the opposite of Georgia Tech. Like I don't think they will, but they could go 9-3 and still be like an average team. Because that's
they'll be on the upside, they'll be the worst 9-2, 9-3 team in college football.
Yeah.
Yes. I know. But here's the positive though, y'all, is that it just makes Mac Brown just look, he just saves his job. You know what I'm saying? Just keeps him around a little bit longer. You know what I mean?
Just does enough.
Keep him around plenty. You know what I mean? That there's no talks of firing him. And you know what, UNC, you're right. You have the right guy. Hold on to Mac Brown for as long as you can.
He could
Please,
easily go 8-4, and I don't think they fire him.
It will be interesting to see how their defense plays out with Jeff Collins. He's a pretty good defensive guy, but horrible head coach.
Well, again, that's the thing that I laugh at though, is that from all I've heard from UNC camp is like Jeff Collins saying like we're just different mentally than we were. You know what I mean? Like I'm saying,
still doesn't mean anything.
Still, I don't mean crap, man. Come on now, dude. Like, okay, finally, all right, you're thinking like a defense. Congratulations, handshake to you, sir. Like, I don't know.
You couldn't get much worse. So.
Well, exactly. So, I
actually
overrated.
I don't think they're going to turn into a top 20 defense, but I think their defense could be better than their offense this year because
I don't think that's a stretch.
If you don't have a quarterback, that's not.
But the question becomes, the question still becomes, are they going to want to tackle somebody? Because remember, they did not want to tackle anybody in that game against us last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
No offense to KC, but when KC's running over people,
they
do not want to tackle.
But here's kind of where I am on the offensive side, is that obviously they're going to rely a lot on Amari and Hampton.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Where does NC State defensively
we stop the run?
Where do we pride ourselves on stopping the run? Okay. And also too, because again, this is you. This is the head coach you have, UNC. This is the head coach you have. Literally, Amari and Hampton against us touched the ball maybe 10 times, maybe. Yeah. He just wasn't even part of the game plan that game.
You put it in your dude's hands and he failed you.
Well, but no.
I'm talking about Drake May. You put the ball in Drake May's hand and he.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Just
I was saying they didn't put it in his hands. That was the
I was talking about Drake. Yeah, I was talking about Drake.
But So
we made Drake May look very ordinary. We made him look like a New England Patriot.
Ooh, ouch. I love it. So really kind of where I'm sitting is okay on the offensive side. Offensive line should be average. They don't have any studs on the wide receiver side. Quarterback should be average to above average at best. So if they're going to win games, it's going to have to be from Jeff Collins and defense holding guys to 28 points or less.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, and I know I'm going to get flame broiled on this. You throw all that out, it's a rivalry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's at Carter Finley West. So.
And also too, because by that time, as crazy as to say, even though by that point we would have played Tennessee, Cal, Clemson, but that both teams honestly could be in the ACC championship game hunt.
Well, and one of them could spoil the other season, right? And so that there's a little extra layer of juice for that game. And the last time we went there, it was double overtime, a hard fought game. But again, we were on our fourth quarterback, so I can understand why it was so close. Mm-hmm. You lost to Ben Finley.
Yeah, dude, come on, y'all. Come on, man.
But no, who knows what the crowd's going to be like at that point? We've talked about, we're talking 16 weeks away. If Carolina is out of it, it's going to be a light crowd.
Yeah.
Oh, if Carolina's out of it, then Mac Brown needs to be fired, man.
Yeah,
they should be in the hunt. If they're not in the hunt with this schedule, man, then yeah, you should be out there. But
but
come on,
we'll see.
Yeah,
I think State wins. So time for prediction. Obviously, we got to wrap this thing up. I think State does win. I think because it is a rivalry, it will be close. These games don't tend to get out of hand.
No.
I mean, last year was kind of the outlier of the last few, having gone down to the Miracle game in 21 and the double OT in 22. These things are usually pretty close. So I think State will get a win, but it'll probably be less than 9 points, I would say.
Wow. Okay. All right, Michael, what you got?
Yeah, I think it's similar. I mean, it's a rivalry game. It's probably be close. It's not going to be crazy either way, I don't think. And I think I've said it before. No matter how bad we're going to project it to be, I'm never going to pick us to lose against UNC.
Yeah, exactly. Amen to that. Amen.
Just can't do it.
ABC, man.
I mean, there's a reason my license plate says hate UNC. Like, there's no way I'm picking them. Yeah. I'm just not.
Well, and also too, I mean, I think with this game specifically, like it really stood out to me. I was watching Inside Pack Sports interviewed Jonathan Paylor, and I thought it was interesting when they asked him what game is he looking forward to. He said, like, without even skipping a beat, UNC.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a North Carolina kid that's recruited to State or North Carolina, I think that game is automatically circled, whatever side of the ball you're on.
Well, but I mean, we planted a freaking state flag in their field 2 years ago, and last year they forgot they were playing a football game. So, I mean,
someone waved the flag on their field too. But.
I know, but they didn't have. You're telling me they didn't have pictures on their locker room of Greg the Leg waving the flag? Like, come on, what are you doing?
I should have been bulletin board material.
Dude, that'd be great.
For as butthurt as they got about that, they didn't even show up last year. To your point, right?
They forgot they were playing a football game. Yeah, no, exactly right. So. All right, so the last questions which I want to ask here. So, actually, let's recap real quick, and then we'll ask final question.
Well, don't give me my prediction because I don't like it.
Well, I mean, I know. Well, hey,
it makes me nervous.
So for me and Michael, 10-2. Me losses to Cal and Tennessee. Michael 10-2 losses to Tennessee and Syracuse. Greg 11-1 with the only loss to Cal. That's crazy, Greg. I like it though, man. That's juicy. Hey, that's a top 10, top 15 team right there. That's all I'm saying with a definite.
10-1. Yeah, I mean, if you're 10 or 11-1, you're top 10. No worse than 12 to 13. But you would have to be top 10.
Yeah. So.
Because we've been taking a loss at Cal, you still have Clemson and Tennessee resume. Clemson. And then especially whatever Cal does with the rest of the season, if they're able to do a few things, that loss doesn't look too bad.
Yep. So the last question. So who would y'all say is do we have a trap game? And if so, who is our trap game this year?
Syracuse.
Really?
I mean, that was my pick as a loss, so I guess you could call that the trap game.
Yeah.
It's a game that you should win.
Yeah.
They have Syracuse, to the point we made earlier, has just enough talent. Mm-hmm. They don't have a ton of talent, but they've got good first line talent.
Georgia Tech could be one too.
It's a road game though. I don't really think road games as much as trap games. To me, trap games scream home games.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, good point.
I mean, for me, like if I'm going by my definition of trap game, which is like you're looking ahead kind of game. By definition, I would say Louisiana Tech. But again, I mean, Louisiana Tech, I'm not necessarily worried about. But it could be one of those games that, like, there's like maybe like a moment in there where we're breathing a little bit heavy, and it's like we finally get it back. It's like, okay, we're fine. But
maybe that Duke game, right? Because the Duke game, you get a bye, and then you're looking at your last two road games. Those are going to be tough games. So that Duke game, last home game before a bye.
Yeah, agreed.
And I guess for me, like, Stanford sucks so bad.
That's it.
You have to have some kind of talent. To me, a trap game, they have to bring something to the table, and Stanford just doesn't do that. So
a decent chance we could lose.
Yeah, so I think it's either Syracuse or Duke. But I honestly, I'm with you, Michael. I think the Duke one's a better say in that.
Agreed. All right, y'all. So that being said, y'all, that is our 2024 NC State football season predictions, y'all. We finally got through it. We got it done.
Yes, I'll see you in Charlotte.
I know. I'm here for it, man. Let's go. Let's beat, either Miami or Florida State, more likely. Maybe. We'll see.
Rematch with Clemson? No, I'm just kidding.
I think most likely, yeah.
Florida State,
I think
Miami,
most likely
probably.
it'll be Florida State. I don't have faith in Miami until they show it.
Well, yeah, of course I don't have faith in Miami, but I mean, it could all of a sudden then Mario Cristobal says, you know what, guys? Here's what we're gonna do. When we have the lead,
I'm gonna be a good coach this year.
when we have the lead, I'm gonna knee the football and actually take the win.
If he does something stupid like that and they miss out, he has to be fired, right?
Yeah.
Well, it to me, like I remember there was an SEC short skid where it was I
know which one you're talking about.
And basically the guy has he's watching tape and it's showing first, second, third, and fourth down, and so he literally is counting on his fingers, first, second, third, and he goes fourth down. Oh, fourth down, yeah. He writes down stuff like that's basically Mario Cristobal, what the coaching class he did this offseason. So. Anyway, y'all. All right, Wolfpack Nation. So again, y'all, if y'all enjoyed this stuff, please do us a big, big favor. Hit that subscribe button. If it's lit up for you right now, that means you're not subscribed. Make sure to do that first and foremost and hit that notification bell. So that way you're notified on all your devices whenever we go live with any amazing NC State content, which will be coming out between now and the rest of this and the beginning of the season, but also throughout the season as well. So, and then y'all, let us know down in the comments. What's your thoughts? Which prediction do you agree with the most? Who do you think is way off? Let us know in the comments, y'all, for sure. And we'll definitely make sure to respond to all of them as well. And if you're excited about State football, make sure to hit that like button and give us a 5-star review on any place that you're listening to your podcast, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. And then also to make sure to give us a follow, Tuffy Talk Now, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, y'all. But we'll see y'all on August 29th. Go Pack, beat Western Carolina, and go Pack, baby.